So I had a meeting with the Sanity and management team earlier this morning. I told them for the next 6 hours, we're going to change the nickname for St. Anita Park from the Great Race Place to Carryover City. And you know the reason why. We've got 3 carryovers involving St. Anita races today. We've got a Pick 6 carryover here at St. Anita. That begins in race 5. The carryover is $47,000. Also in the last race on today's 10-race card, race number 10, we've got a super high 5 carryover of $19,000, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. And then perhaps most importantly, since the beginning of our meet, only one day has somebody been able to solve the Sunset Pick 6 riddle. So we've got another carryover in the Sunset Pick 6. As I mentioned, that's $1. It combines the last 3 races at Gulfstream Park with the last 3 races at St. Anita. And that carryover is $93,000. So we need some help. We need some help from somebody who's not only here in the afternoon, but also somebody who's here in the morning as well. We've got the perfect candidate to fit that profile. Her name, Millie Ball. Millie, happy Sunday. Welcome to the seminar.
Thank you very much. And if I don't help you out, then you can carry me out of here.
Exactly right. No pressure at all. Just 10 winners.
Yes.
I mentioned you've been here in the morning. You were here this morning as well, bright and early. Tell us what your morning was like.
I was. Well, my duties in the morning, I work for my husband, Tim Yakteen, riding the pony, escorting those the horses that need the pony to go out to the track. And what did I have? I had about 3 or 4 lots this morning. So took care of that and then went home. And I love to run, as you know. So had to get on my treadmill and run really fast because I had to be here. So I got that done, check, and here I am, ready for the races today.
Well, it's great to have you here. Now, you did a great profile yesterday on the Outriders horse, who used to be a former racehorse by the name of Eisenhower. Is your pony a former racehorse?
He actually is a thoroughbred. He was supposed to be a former racehorse, but he never made the races. He was trained by John Sadler, and his name is Toro. He sticks his tongue out the whole time. And we kind of have a love-hate relationship because he's really good at what he does as a pony, but he's the crabbiest guy. I mean, he just wants a bite and yeah. So, I love him, but sometimes I get very frustrated with him.
I know you and your husband have a lot of talented horses in his barn, but of course the star of the barn is Johannes. Johannes won the City of Hope Mile here on opening weekend. Let's kind of rewind the history books and take a look at the stretch run of Johannes winning the City of Hope Mile. He'll be in saddlecloth number 3 in the pink silks.
Joe, Johannes is in Fort, swinging to the outside there at the top of the stretch. Zio Joe fights back, final boss. Johannes cut loose in the center of the course, and Cabo Spirit still running a big race, but it's Johannes supremely confidently handled, and he storms to the front for a back-to-back score in the City of Hope Mile.
Millie, as they cross the finish line, I'll bring your attention to the final time. Johannes came home the final quarter mile in less than 22.53 seconds. That's a Breeders' Cup type of performance right there.
He did. I mean, it was a good time. He's run faster before, but, it's hard to know turf to turf. But it was a very good performance for him. And it was sort of redemption after a disaster when we shipped him back east. So I was glad that he got to show that he really is the racehorse that we thought, expected him to be this year from last year.
Now, that race was on September 27th. Since then, he's had a bit of a maintenance work on the main track. This workout we're going to show, courtesy of FirstTV.com, was on October 9th. It was an easy half mile in 49 seconds flat. We know he's a turf horse, but you and Tim had to be happy with this workout.
Very happy. It's funny, actually, for a turf horse, he works extremely well over the dirt. I mean, he floats over it, as you can see, and he can quicken on it, which often turf horses can't at the end of their work. But this was his first work back off that big race, so we just wanted a nice, easy work. And sometimes he gets a little bit bored when he's out there by himself. He's a lot more competitive when he's got company, but he wasn't allowed the company for this first work back. And as you can see, I mean, his lead changes are flawless. He's just bouncing over the ground. His exercise rider, Bolter, works him and gallops him every morning. And he always stays pretty high up in the saddle like that, which gives you an indication of how easy the horse is going. And then he just lets him stretch his legs, carry on around to the 7/8 pole. So I think Tim was really happy with
Let's give some love, Millie, to the exercise rider, not just for Johannes, but maybe others in the barn as well. What's kind of their background? Are any of them either former riders or longtime exercise riders for Tim? Give us the names and maybe the background on a few of them.
Sort of got a mixture. Some have only ever been exercise riders. Bolter was a former jockey, lost Los Alamitos a long time ago. We have Jeremy Laprida, who's an exercise rider for us. Obviously, he's in fact, he's going to be riding for us, I believe, next weekend. So yes, there are, a mixture. Some international people come over. Leonard Powell usually has a clan of French people that show up. Yeah, for the winter, exactly.
Flavian was in that category way back when.
Exactly. Right. Yes. So even Demura, who I was talking to yesterday, talked about in the mid-90s, he came over and was riding for Mandela back then. So yes, they come from all over the world.
You and Tim have to be happy because Johannes is going to run back in the Breeders' Cup Mile at Del Mar, where he performed so admirably last year, finishing a very good second. What's the plan for Johannes now after the most recent work we saw? Will there be one more maintenance type of drill on the main track and then ship down to Del Mar?
Yeah, he will complete all his works here at Santa Anita and then ship down like we did last year or the week before, and he'll just gallop into the race.
We're just warming up. We got to find out who Millie likes on today's 10-race card. But before we do any of that, we've got to get the early scratches. And I think they're minimal from track announcer Frank Miramati. Let's have him join the conversation. When we resume, we'll find out who Millie likes in all the races, including the races that involve the carryovers I mentioned in the beginning. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place, where the track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf out 10 feet. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see on the graphics, there's a carryover again in the Sunset Pick 6, which starts at Gulfstream with their 8th in about an hour and a half. Carryover in our Pick 6, more than 47,000, and Super High 5, no one hit it yesterday. That's in the 10th race, just under $20,000. In the first race, the California Distaff Handicap, we just have a blinker note. In fact, there's no scratches at all today until the last. Race 2, no changes. Start of the early Pick 4. Changes in the third. The fourth race offers middle Pick 4 wagering. Just a blinker note in race 4. In the fifth, we start the $2 Pick 6 with that carryover of more than $47,317. Blinker note in the fifth. No changes in the sixth, which kicks off the all-turf Pick 3 and late Pick 5. The seventh is the start of the late Pick 4. No changes. The eighth starts the late Pick 3. No changes. The ninth race begins the $5 late daily double with no changes. And in the 10th, scratch the also eligible number 12. Track Tiger, $19,881 in that carryover for race number 10. Enjoy your day at the great race place. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. Tom and Millie will resume the seminar momentarily, but not before we remind you about the Coast to Coast Pick 5, another extraordinary payout yesterday. Low 15% takeout. It's offered for retail only. It starts with Gulfstream's 9th. Here's Tom Quigley and Millie Ball.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Millie Ball. You will see her later today on the simulcast feed. She's a co-host, analyst, and reporter. It's our pleasure to have her putting in overtime today, joining us on the seminar to walk us through all 10 races. So, Millie, let's kick things off in race number 1, which ironically is our feature race on today's card. It's the California Distaff Handicap. We're coming down the beautiful hillside turf course, as you saw earlier in the scenic shot in the screen behind Millie, the live feed. Not a cloud in the sky here in Southern California. This is a field of California-bred fillies and mares, a field of 5. Take note number 2, Issa Court, who was recently reclaimed by Bob Hess, was supplemented to the race. Also, race 1 begins the popular 50-cent early Pick 5. The 125-pound high weight is number 1, Grand Slam Smile, but the current betting choice at 6-5 is number 3, Bits Tiger Magic. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Millie, I know that you're good friends. You and Tim are good friends with Sean and Kim McCarthy. When you guys go out to dinner or maybe have a glass of wine, do you really talk about the races, or you just completely drop that topic and maybe talk about something completely different?
Usually it's something different. Usually it's family, because
you've had enough of the racetrack by that point, right?
Yeah. Sean and Kim, they always ask about the boys. They are actually Sam and Ben's godparents.
Let's talk about the boys for a minute. How are they doing?
They're good, thank you. Yeah, our youngest
They're
had
growing
homecoming
quickly.
last night, got home very late, and then had this hot walk this morning at 5 a.m. and was not very happy
That
about
taught
it.
him a lesson.
He did it. And Sam, we hear from, frequently. He's down at college at San Marcos, and he's surfing every day. He's on the surf team down there. So, yeah.
Do Sean and Kim have children?
Sean and Kim did not have children, so
But they're the
they've
godparents.
enjoyed. But yeah, they went to all the boys' grandparents' days and graduations, and no, they've been wonderful godparents.
Well, I don't know if you talked to Sean and Kim about Grand Slam Smiles chances in race number 1, but I'm interested in your opinion. Who do you like in race 1 and why?
I do like Grand Slam Smile. I think the hardest thing she's got to get through is being saddled. She's a bit tricky to saddle. But other than that, I mean, she is the consummate professional. You can see in her record, she's 14 for 14 hitting the board.
Amazing.
I mean, it's amazing. She's got tactical speed. She won this race last year. There is so much to like about her and training well. So, yeah, I do expect Grand Slam Smile to win.
Millie, a question for you that you just touched upon. Why do some horses not like being saddled? What is it about that particular procedure that they don't like?
I would say the majority of it is nervousness. When horses get nervous, they get tight. And to add to that, you're cinching up a saddle. And
a number of humans around them.
Correct. They're just very much on edge. And you're talking about, these are racehorses that are fit and ready to run. And you're asking them to stand still. Well, there's all this stuff going around and they are anticipating racing. So some just get, very tight in there. And that's why most of Tim's horses are saddled in a box, whether they're good to saddle or not. But
that's
being
on
able
the
to
side
have,
there for those people
we
who
have
might not be.
2 boxes at Santa Anita. They're enclosed boxes and they are wonderful to use, especially for nervous horses.
It keeps the horses focused on the task at hand rather than looking around at the crowd and
Exactly.
watching the little kids run around and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Fair enough. 1 and 3 in race number 1 to kick off the proceedings. Let's turn the page, Millie. Take a look at race number 2. Begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're still on the turf course. This time 1 mile is the distance. Maiden special weights, Calbred, fillies and mares. A good field of 10. The morning line favorite, number 7, Ride Gold from the Craig Lewis barn at 9-5. However, before we get your thoughts on the race, Millie, you wanted to show a workout for number 10, French Moonlight from the Leonard Powell barn, again, courtesy of our friends at FirstTV.com. Why did you want to show this workout back on October 3rd?
I wanted to show this because I thought this filly was 7-2 on the morning line. And I thought that, her race where she only got beat by Ride Gold by a quarter of a length, is there enough separation to say that the same thing's going to happen again? Right, Gold will beat her. Well, the way she's working, to me, she's just absolutely bouncing over the training track here. She's showing good energy. She's well in the bridle, as you can see, finishing up here. She looks sharp. I think that if Right Gold were to stub a toe just a little bit, not that much separation with a horse that looks to be continuing to train forwardly. The only thing is about French Moonlight is she did not draw well. She's on the outside there, and
To
that's
say
the
the
only
least.
concern for me.
You do like number 7, Ride Gold, as well,
Yes.
to perhaps to be her main competitor.
Yes, I do. I put Rye Gold on top and French Moonlight underneath, but watch the tote board, and I could easily flip if it was a much more generous sway with French Moonlight.
And the thing that jumps off the page, Millie, is the pedigree for French Moonlight. This is an impeccable pedigree for a Calbred. You would expect this type of pedigree to be for a Kentucky bred. For a Calbred, certainly expectations are high for her, but as you mentioned, she has to overcome that outside draw, but she's lightly raced and she's eligible to improve today. So as Millie said, watch the tote board. Race number 3, we're sprinting on the main track. 6 furlongs for fillies and mares, $25,000 claimers, non-winners of 3 races lifetime. Field of 7, number 2, Elton Sings Another is the 5-2 morning line favorite, fresh off a victory over at Los Alamitos. Talk to us about race 3.
Well, Elton Sings Another is likely to be the favorite in here. She won last time out, and she's actually eligible to run back in this condition again because she skipped a condition. But what concerns me about her, and I think she could be a vulnerable favorite, is she jumped up in form when she went to Los Alamitos.
Yeah.
She does have good speed, but there is some other speed that might be fast enough to press her in here. So I looked at the number 7, Goodnight Nellie. She's a filly that drew well. I thought, on the outside, Aguilar is going to be able to play the break and sort of, gauge where the speed is coming from. And it looks like this filly's got enough speed to stay very close. And I just thought her post position was more favorable than the likely favorite.
Millie, let's touch upon something you mentioned about Elton Sings Another, and that's the last performance for her at Los Alamitos. I'm of the same belief as you are. A lot of times those performances at Los Alamitos are outliers of what they do at Santa Anita Del Mar. They're not easily translatable. So sometimes players fall in love with the most recent performance at Los Alamitos, but that could be dangerous because sometimes they can't repeat that performance either at Santa Anita or at Del Mar.
Yeah, and part of the reason is I feel like a lot of trainers just tend to give their horses that 2-week break during Los Alamitos. And it's a great place if you've got a horse that's not quite cutting it here against the group at Santa Anita. Los Alamitos, you can get lucky there. So maybe just found, a softer group that day, and now is going to come back against some tougher racehorses.
Race number 4 is the first of 2 horses that your husband saddles on today's card. Race 4 also begins the 50-cent middle pick 4. We're on a 10-race card. We do offer a 50-cent middle pick 4, I should say. We're back on the turf course, 1 mile is the distance for starter allowance types. Also, the turf rails today are at 10 feet. We've got a field of 8. The morning line favorite is number 2, Dandy Man Shines from the Jeff Mullins barn. However, Tim does saddle number 3, Mr. Leisure, who ran a real good second last time out at Del Mar. As a matter of fact, 4 of these 8 runners in race number 4 exit the same race that Mr. Leisure does. So let's take a look at a replay. Let's watch Mr. Leisure's last performance on September 1st at Del Mar. Listen to Larry Comas describe the action, and specifically Mr. Leisure in this replay also is going to be breaking from post position number 3.
They're off. Good even beginning. It's Hucker who comes out well with Unbreakable Trust away with speed and Smart Code away third to their outside. Then Sketchy and Mr. Leisure down toward the rail. Russell's Hustle is next. Then the Old 9. Break of another 2.5 lengths more, and they're followed by Grogu, who races down on the inside. Dealer Special in One of These Days are next, and then a break of another 2 back to Smooth Salute. The early trailer is Dakota Country. So on to the backstretch. Hawker is the leader, 23.01 that opening quarter mile. Smart Code 3/4 of a length behind, running along in second. Mr. Leisure is third down toward the inside. Then Unbreakable Trust in fourth, halfway up the backstretch. Break of 2 back to Russell's Hustle, who races to the inside of Sketchy. It's a separation of 2.5 to the Old 9 and Grogu. And then Dealer Special in One of These Days, who's got 10 lengths to make up, and 4 clear of Smooth Salute and Dakota Country. 47.11 was the half mile. Hawker heads for the far turn with Smart Code. Now just a head back on the outside. The 2 of them are right together. Smart Code pokes ahead in front. Hawker on the inside, battles on second by 2.5. And then Mr. Leisure in third. Russell's Hustle follows in fourth as they come to the top of the stretch. And as they turn for home here, and on the outside, here comes to take the lead with 1 furlong to go. And it is Russell's Hustle who's storming up on the outside by Smart Code. Russell's Hustle takes charge and goes on to win. Up the rail, Mr. Leisure got second, and then Smart Code and Grogu.
Millie, I think you and Tim have figured out the secret to Mr. Leisure after adding blinkers. He wants to go long on the turf course, and you can certainly see it there. He ran a really good second to Russell's Hustle from the Peter Miller barn. You expect further improvement today?
He's continued to train well. The one thing about this horse is he never skips a meal. He always looks almost on the heavy side.
I can relate.
He holds his weight well. He's very good. The only issue we've had with him is at the gate, and I'm hoping that, from time, Jay Slender has worked with him a lot, and I think we're over that. So fingers crossed.
What are the issues at the gate? Does he break slow? Does he not like this?
No. It's getting to the gate.
I see.
Once he gets to the gate, he wants to whip around, and they've sort of outsmarted him because they are ready for him. And they've done a great job at just being prepared for when he arrives. And once he's in, he's a dude,
And hats off to the starting gate crew, because you brought up a very valuable point that players and people that are fans of the sport don't truly understand. They're out here early in the morning working with tons of horses, finding out their idiosyncrasies, putting it down in a notebook, and working with them day after day,
Right.
week after week, to make sure when the actual show is put on in the afternoon that hopefully there's not any issues.
And they have to remember that, this one needs the doors cracked a little bit. This one needs to be packed. Don't pack this one, use the pads. It's a lot to remember for them.
Race number 5 begins the $2 pick six. $47,000 is the carryover. We're going 1 mile on the main track for $10,000 claimers. Non-winners of 3 races lifetime. A field of 7. We've got a heavy even money morning line favorite to kick off the pick six in number 2. Feel the Magic from the Michael McCarthy barn. Again, courtesy of our friends at firsttv.com. Millie, you want to show a recent workout for number 2, Feel the Magic.
And the reason I wanted to show the workout, because you look at this gelding's form, and he either wins or you cannot find him. I mean, he is, gets really out of form. And so I thought that a current work would help me decide whether he is a legitimate even money or likely shorter favorite when he loads into the gate, or is he going to throw in one of those absolute clunkers? And you can see him on the outside here, the chestnut. He's in a lovely rhythm. The ride is pretty high on him, just letting him go along. He switches leads smoothly. When you're talking about $10,000 claimers, the lead changes to me are very important. And see how he's like a rocking horse. He's just staying very, very even.
And we've heard of the workmate. I'm sorry, Miller, for interrupting, but Ennesley is a really nice runner from the Michael McCarthy barn as well.
Yep, very much so. So this is as big as a class drop as you could take. So maybe that workout will be good enough to win this race. But what I'm seeing in the morning, I think that he's going to be the legitimate favorite.
If players were to double their ticket maybe in the first leg of the pick six, who do you think is the main competition to Feel the Magic?
I think that Pete's Old Fashioned would be the next one. He's been very consistent throughout his career. I drew the rail last time and they shortened him up to the 5.5 furlongs. And maybe it just wasn't, what they wanted. They might actually have just wanted to give him a race to just keep him fit because he hadn't run since August prior to that. So either way, I think his earlier form, going the mile trip, is competitive enough to be a threat to Feel the Magic.
Race number 6 begins both the 50-cent late pick 5 as well as the $3 all turf pick 3 wagers. We kick both wagers off in race number 6, sprinting 6 furlongs in the flat turf course. This race is for allowance optional claiming types. Non-winners of 1 other than. We've got a field of 7. Number 3, Speedy Wilson, one of 3 3-year-olds in the field, is the 3-1 morning line favorite from the Phil D'Amato barn. Phil D'Amato's barn got off to a red-hot start to begin the meet, Millie. You expect him to continue that hot streak here?
Well, this is a half to Lovesick Blues, who ran huge, didn't he?
What a great race that was.
Yesterday,
Rose and Lovesick Blues coming down to the wire together.
Absolutely. The only thing about Speedy Wilson is by Tough Sunday. And if I'm correct in my research, he is 0 for 14 with his offspring on the turf. So minor awards, yes, but wins, no, for Tough Sunday. So I looked elsewhere in there, and I used Afternoon Nap, who I think has really good speed. This is a gifted horse for Carla Gaines. So I used Afternoon Nap and then Irish Corn. I will tell you something quickly, though, about Shamrock Glitter.
I was going to ask you, please.
Oh, so Neil Drysdale gets this horse over from Europe, from France. I know is a Team Valor, and I was able to go back and watch, courtesy of one of our exercise riders, actually, who gallops Shamrock Glitter, but was able to watch that race at Longchamp on the 6th of June. And this Ridgeling, he's a grinder. He won really nicely, but
no
grinding.
Quick turn of foot.
No. And all his races have been on good to soft ground. So I think it's going to be really interesting. Watch him and how he handles the ground today. And then you can make a case for him, because Neil usually gives his horses an education, first off, old school, they'll run much better next time. But the barn has been hot of late. So I just thought he was definitely a horse to note and follow.
One additional comment, I should say. Shamrock Glitter gets the riding services of Juan Hernandez. That tells me that he possibly could be live on First Asking here in North America. The follow-up question for you, Millie, is not specific to this race, but you talked about how you're on the pony a lot with some of your husband's runs horses out on the track. Do you ever see a runner whiz by you and take a look at the saddle cloth and say,
Oh,
wow,
a
who the
lot.
heck was that?
Yeah, it's a lot. And thankfully, most of the exercise riders are very generous with their information. Yeah. So,
You know the
yeah.
saddle cloth, so you know what barn to go to. And
I
of
know.
course, you're doing it professionally for firsttv.com.
Yeah, yeah. So no, it's been a huge help to me. And if you're a follower of journalism, by the way, I saw him galloping this morning, and I mean, gosh, that horse does not take a step backwards. He is unbelievable.
For a
He's
3-year-old,
he
he
is
looks like a tank.
Teflon,
Correct.
that horse. And he worked so well the other day. So yeah, he's an easy one to spot and follow, obviously. But yes, I definitely do that.
I'll put you on the spot because Baeza also worked the other day, and he's one of my
Yes.
favorite 3-year-olds as well. I've not seen the work yet. Did you see the work, and what did you think of that?
I have not seen the work. I know we've got it on
We do.
XBTV. Yes.
We're too busy handicapping San Anita.
Right, and again, that helps with my information because they tell me when they're going to work.
Mhm.
So, but no, I was too busy that morning with our own workers to watch him.
We've got homework Tuesday morning, that's for sure.
There you
Race
go.
number seven begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track for fillies and mares, a starter optional claiming race, a field of 7. Mark Glatt trains 2 in here, including the morning line favorite, number 1, Pocket Venus. Again, 3-year-old facing older. Talk to us about race 7, Millie.
I think watch the tote board with these 2 Mark Glatts because I thought they were the top 2 contenders in this race, and see where the money's going. Pocket Venus had 2 outside trips last time. The post position now gets down on the rail, which is to me is a little bit of a negative. And I forgive this filly for her last race because she won and she ran a huge effort, and they brought her back in 22 days off of that. And I don't think that was enough time for her to be able to really recoup and run another good race. Now she's got 40 plus days off that race. So I think she's going to move forward. And then Diva Cap, she was very gritty, I thought, in her effort down at Del Mar. Mayakama come back and won after that, and she's another one. Again, she drew outside, got a perfect trip outside, and now she draws inside.
Millie, a question for you, and your husband kind of fits this category as well. Mark Glatt does so well off the layoff.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think some trainers are so successful first off the layoff, and other trainers, like you mentioned with Neil Drysdale, maybe are more old school and want to give them one? Is it the way that they train? Is it just their mentality of, like in Tim's case, having worked for both Bob Baffert and Charlie Whittingham?
I would say that patience has got to have a lot to do with that, because you're bringing a horse off a layoff for a reason. And having the patience to know to take your time to bring them back and wait till they're really ready to run. They've got that good foundation. They're gated, they've been taken to the gate. They're, all that. I think that is so important. So, and sometimes you've got to skip the race, which is coming up, but you're just a work or 2 short.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Skip that race, have the patience, and bring them when they're ready.
And have the patient owners, because they're still paying the bills.
100%. Yes.
Some owners are not as patient, and unfortunately, as we well know,
Yes.
you should always listen to the horse.
Right.
Race number 8 begins the popular $3 late pick 3. Again, we're sprinting on the turf course, 6 furlongs of the distance. This is for the hard-knocking $25,000 claimers. A field of 10. By the way, the sequence in the pick 6, in my opinion, very difficult today, as represented by race 8. The morning line favorite down on the rail, taking a drop down in class for trainer Blaine Wright, is number 1. Golden Ale, 2-1 on the morning line. Was very impressive down at Del Mar on debut from Emerald Downs, but since then has never really been able to repeat that performance. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the favorite here, Millie?
I really do think you'd have to all this race. It is impossible for
Isn't
me
it?
to really do that. Yeah. But Golden Ale, you've got a very light work tab to base this 6-year-old on. 2 works, one at Del Mar and one here at Santa Anita, or I don't know. It's just that I ended up, you asked me for my top 2 choices, and I said Golden Ale, but I put Yogi Boy on top because Yogi Boy won recently. Look at the form of these horses. Find me a horse that won in either its last start or its last 2 races.
Oh, Yogi Boy's the only one.
Yeah. So I had to go with Yogi Boy, who had beaten Mr. Leisure a few races back and felt that form was good enough. So Yogi Boy for me and Golden Ale. But if I were playing the pick 6, this would be an all.
Difficult for late pick 3 players as well, that's for sure. Race number 9 begins the popular $5 late daily double. Did you see the payout yesterday in the $5 late daily double? We had a 50-1 winner to kick it off. Then we had a 15-1 winner win the nightcap. That $5 late daily double played close to $6,000 for a $5 wager. Not sure it'll pay that much today, but it could because we've got two good fields to close out the day. In race 9, kicking off the $5 late daily double, we're going 1 mile on the main track. Fillies and mares, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. We've got a field of 7. Morning line favorite from the Bob Hess barn, number 6, Lolo La Plume, who's 5-2 on the morning line. However, Tim does saddle number 3, Epione, whose morning line odds are 9-2. We want to watch a workout for Epione, the most recent workout from the gate. This workout was back on October 5th. Although there's a workmate here, that's Epione down on the inside with the exercise rider wearing the red cap. The other workmate just was popping the gate and will drop out. Talk to us about what you thought of Epione's performance on October 5th in the morning, Millie.
Well, it's actually Jeremy Laprida who was working her there. We got some company out of the gate, which was great, from Dan Ascardi, but he was just breaking and pulling up after that. Epione continued to work on out. I think she fits into this sort of common situation with a lot of the horses in this race. And that is, Tom, that this is the first time they've had this condition available on the dirt for a really, really long time. So a lot of these horses have either sat and waited, like we have with Epione, to get this condition, or they've, run at a mile on the dirt to get a race, or they've backed up to 5 furlongs on the turf to get a race in, so you're trying to judge. Don't look at those last races, I feel like, for those horses. Don't base that form with these horses.
They ran because that was the only place where they could run.
Exactly. Epione, I'm hoping that, we've been sitting on her for so long that she hasn't, how horses can just really bloom and then they can just tip. And I hope that's not the situation with her, but that was a super work. We always have to work her from the gate because she does not do you remember the great horse of Bobby Frankel's that we used to work from the gate every single time because she wouldn't work otherwise? Well, this Epione has to work from the gate, and that was a good work for her. So fingers crossed.
Fair enough. Let's close it out in race number 10. Keeping in mind, we do have holiday racing Monday tomorrow. That's right. We do race tomorrow. We've got 9 races beginning at 1 o'clock. But first things first, in the nightcap today, race number 10, we do offer $1 super high five wagering with the aforementioned $19,000 already in the carryover. And in race 10, this race is for maiden special weight 2-year-olds going 6 furlongs on the turf course. The one scratch on today's card, the also eligible number 12, Track Tiger, will not compete. The morning line favorite number 6, Cactus Charlie, at 9-5. We talked about how one of the early races, Millie, was difficult. This one is, again, almost impossible based upon pedigree, workouts, turf, the whole 9 yards.
I really like a horse in here.
Oh, that's good news.
I like the 8, who was 8-1 on the morning line, and that's Green Screen. Now, this is a 2-year-old colt by Oscar Performance, who is a wonderful stallion. Graham Motion had entered Green Screen at Keeneland. Was on the also eligibles and didn't get in, and that's the reason why Green Screen is running here. But look at the race that Green Screen comes out of.
Particularly the second place finisher.
Very impressive at Keeneland in a listed stakes for Wesley Ward. After that, maiden second. So I think a strong race, and the fact that Graham's shipping this horse over here, he's got purpose in my mind. Otherwise, I'd look at Cactus Charlie because he's got some experience. And then I did think that, and I'm going to try and pronounce this, I listened to it on Wikipedia,
Number 3.
Diaghilev. There we go.
That's
Diaghilev. Yeah, no, that's how you Diaghilev.
You're a professional. So you're a broadcasting professional. I'll just say
it was a
number
Russian
3.
ballet impression, apparently, but has really shown some ability in the morning for that barn, Mandela barn.
8, 6, and 3 to close out a very exciting and very competitive 10-race card. Millie, before I let you go, there's 2 more wagers to talk about. We don't need your selections because you've given selections for some of these wagers. The first wager is the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5. Did you see yesterday's payout in the Coast to Coast Pick 5? $73,000. That's all it paid for a $1 wager. It's going to kick off today on Sunday in Gulfstream Park, race number 9, 2:07 p.m. Pacific time. And then, of course, the big news, as you've been seeing throughout the seminar, is the $1 Sunset carryover. That will begin with Gulfstream Park, race 8, 1:35 p.m. Pacific time. That carryover, $93,000. All right, Millie, you're done here, but now you just got to walk maybe 500 yards over to the simulcast set and continue working for the next 6 hours while I go have fun at Eddie Logan.
Indeed, but you're going to give me a break for the pick six, aren't you?
I am. Race number 5, you can catch your breath and
I was planning on
take
it.
off for a half hour. Hope you enjoyed the day, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the seminar. Wishing nothing but the best of luck this afternoon. We'll do it all again tomorrow. In the meantime, have a great afternoon, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon. Welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. Plenty of carryovers today. The first starts at Gulfstream with their 8, the Sunset 6 carryover. Pick 6 carryover and Super High 5 carryover here as well. Here are the changes, not many of them. Just one scratch. It's the also eligible in the last. And the first, blinkers off, is the only change. It's in your program. First race starts the early pick 5. The second is the first leg of the early pick 4. No changes. There are no changes in the third. Fourth race offers middle pick 4 wagering, no scratches or jockey changes. The fifth starts the $2 pick 6, $47,317 in the pick 6 carryover. Race 6 starts the late pick 5 and all turf pick 3 with no program changes. No changes in the 7th. Race 8, $3 late pick 3 begins. No changes. No changes in the 9th. Started the late double, $5 version. And in the 10th, there's $19,881 in the super high 5 carryover, scratch the 12 track Tiger. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. 28 minutes to post for race 1. The Coast to Coast pick 5 starts with Gulfstream's 9th.